Diecast degenerates, happy Friday evening. So the last video we looked at some Greenlight civilian deco castings, and for this video I wanted to look at some Greenlight racing deco castings. Starting with this. This is a 1969 Ford Mustang. Let's see what it is. 69 Ford Mustang. I don't know. I think it might be a Boss or something. This is based off of an actual race car. A few years back, Greenlight had a series called Road Racers. And they only did Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3 with 6 cars in each series. And each car was based off of an actual race car. They were very limited in production, between 2,000 and 3,000 units per car. So I don't recall which series this is from. I have a few of the Road Racers, but I don't have too many. They're awesome cars, though. The detail on the cars in this series is some of the nicest detail that Greenlight has done in anything that they've ever produced, in my opinion. So, awesome little car. This is one of those cars that will forever stay in my collection. So there's that, and this is going to be really in no particular order. Most of these, if not all of them, are based on actual race cars. This is a Plymouth Gt. I don't know what year. There might be a couple of these that aren't. One of them is based off of a fictional race car. There's a Plymouth Gt, awesome looking car. The only thing I don't like about this tooling is the plastic top. But otherwise it's pretty awesome. I would say the nicest Gt in the scale, due to the fact that Auto World hasn't done it. I do favor this tooling, even with the plastic lid on it. I favor this to the Johnny. I don't really recall which release this one came in. I acquired this in a trade. Shout out to Paul Roselle on Instagram. Really cool car there. Another vintage one is this. This is a 1961 Corvette. This is a very early Greenlight. It's GL017 is the tooling number. One of the original Greenlight toolings right here. And this, I believe, is based off of an actual race car, but I can't confirm that, but I think it is. I love the simple look of this car. Just the white paint and some pretty basic racing decos. Interior looks kind of cheesy, but other than that, I think the car looks nice. And I'm not a big fan of these early Corvettes. But again, it's probably the nicest, what is this, first gen or second gen? Probably the nicest in the scale, because Auto World hasn't done it, and almost everything that Greenlight does, in my opinion, is better than what Johnny Lightning does. There might be a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, I don't think it's even really close. Okay, so they did some late model race car stuff as well, like this. This is another one from the Road Racers, and This is a 2011 Ford Mustang GT. But look at the detail. Check out that grille. Now, yes, the Auto World tooling is probably nicer. But I wouldn't say it's like a landslide better than the Greenlight in this particular case. This one does have lens headlights and taillights. The Auto World has painted headlights and taillights, and they're not all that good looking. In fact, as far as Auto World goes, that Ford Mustang, probably one of their worst castings, I think. This one, I think, looks really good, though. Got the speed box, prototypical Ford Mustang GT wheels. So there's that. This one also came from the Road Racers. This is another late model 2012 Ford Focus ST. And it's another one with transparent lens headlights and taillights. I like this tooling a lot from Greenlight. It's a nice little car. It's very well done. It's one of those castings where, you know, I look at it and I really don't know what could have been done to make this better. Usually with castings from any brand, you can point to a few things that would make it look better. I don't know that you can on this one. It's really, really well done. There's your silhouette of the car. It's got side view mirrors. This is just one of those toolings that I wish Greenlight would put out a little bit more often. Kind of like the Fox body. I am glad, though, that they got this out in a nice civilian deco and a nice racing deco. And I'm also glad to have both of them. Because those road racer cars, they were expensive for a minute. And then I think what happened was there was a bunch of them like stowed away somewhere. And then and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of them hit eBay, and the prices plummeted. And so I snagged what I could. But I think the prices are still fairly low on most of them. But the production is not very high. You know, it's like 2,500, somewhere in there. Maybe 3,000, I think they did in the latest series. This is another road racer. This is based off of an actual race car. Really cool looking car. So these are authentic replica graphics. Lens headlights on this one. This even has the Sunoco sponsor badge there. I'd love to see Greenlight do a Sunoco Camaro, like with the 67, the 69, basically with all of their Camaro toolings. I'd kind of like to see them do like a 1985 Z28. They have the Firebird tooling for that, but not the Camaro. By the way, Greenlight announced, it's either going to be tonight or tomorrow, they're going to announce the new tooling that they're coming out with that the collectors got to choose. So that'll be fun. You should check them out on Facebook, because I think that's where they're going to announce it. It's either Facebook or Instagram, but I believe it is Facebook. They're going to announce the winner. My pick was the square body K5 Blazer with the Stranger Things deco. So I'm hoping that that's what it is. I'm very curious though to see. There was all kinds of crazy suggestions, whole bunch of stuff that I have no interest. I don't want Greenlight doing 1:64 scale school buses or fire trucks. I'm not interested. So who knows? I don't think it's going to be an SD. I think it's going to be an actual car. So here is the fictional. So this is not a real race car, but it's based off of a fictional race car from the TV show MacGyver. This is the Phoenix Firebird. Pretty awesome that they did this. When they get MacGyver licensing, you know, you're kind of limited as to what you can do. He drove a Jeep Wrangler, and that's honestly all I ever remember him driving. I don't ever remember him driving this car, but I did Google it, and it is verifiable. The problem with this car is, like the R34 and R35, this is one of those cursed production toolings. You almost, like I'd say probably 4 times out of every 5, you get an offset base, which causes a whole bunch of gangster lean. It's unfortunate because otherwise I think it's a really nice little tooling. I think it's nicer than, I think when it's done right in a nice civilian deco and the base is spun proper, I like this better than the Johnny. But the Johnny does have the rear defrost, which I think is a really cool feature on a 1:64 scale car. It's a cool feature that you don't see very often. This is probably one of the generic race cars. This was released with one of the ramp trucks. Little Shelby Cobra. And while this is a Greenlight release, it's not an actual Greenlight tooling design. This is one of the tools that came from High Speed, which is okay because this is one of the High Speed toolings that I think came out really nice. There are a couple of things I would change about it. I don't care so much for not having lens taillights, but any car that has round headlights, any premium detailed diecast car, whether it's M2, Greenlight, Auto World, any of those brands that have round headlights, they should always be lensed, in my opinion. I mean, think about how much nicer that would look. But it probably wouldn't be all that hard to convert those to lensed headlights. So there's that one. Another road racer. This is a 2011 Dodge Challenger. This is another one that is based off of an actual race car. Pretty cool looking, in my opinion. This is a really beefy casting. It probably weighs more than like the C10. It's one of their more heavy castings that they have. And it's all painted detail. These wheels don't complement the casting very well because they sit too far inside the wheel well, which affects the stance in a negative way. But otherwise, I like the tool. The Challengers that they put out with the civilian decos, I think look really good. My favorite to come out so far is from Breaking Bad. which is also the same, basically the same car they used for Walking Dead. All right, this one here, I don't know how accurate this race car is, but it's from the Heritage series, so I know it's, if this is not based off of an actual race car, I know the Deco is based off of the old Ford GT40. Actually, no, on this one it might be the 2005 Ford GT, because this is an 05 colorway with the red and white. It's a very complementary color combination for this particular casting. I think it looks really good. And I love the silver wheels. I'm glad they went with the silver wheels over the black wheels. This is a great tooling from Greenlight. Very nicely done. All right. Here's another one that I'm not 100% positive on, whether it's based on a real race car or not, but it's an 09 CR or C6R Corvette with the Gulf dress up. I really would like to see this tooling with a civilian deco, because I don't think, well, maybe the other one I have is. It just looks so vastly different that I want to say this is a different tool, but I don't know. This, to me, though, is their best execution at this casting. I mean, these headlights, these lensed headlights, look as good as you can make a 1:64 scale headlight look. So much detail inside of the lens. And then the Gulf livery looks really good. It's a nice complement to the lines of the car. Now, this this casting did come out with the Gulf livery twice. This is the second release. Both of them were hobby exclusive releases, but the first one doesn't have the black on the bottom half. So that's the big difference between this one and that one, but there are some other differences. I don't have the other ones, so I don't know. Like, I don't know for sure what all the differences are. But I do like this one. I would score Greenlight pretty high on this release. The car has a really nice stance. It's really well proportioned. It's got a really nice deco. Nice lensed headlights. Only thing that really could have been better is lens taillights. I would like to see this in a nice civilian deco though. So there's that. Here's another older one. This is a... It doesn't have the year, but it's an Ansi Javelin Amx. And I don't remember who drove this car, but it is based on an actual... It is based on an actual race car that did exist and race. It's not the one everybody thinks it is. I forget the guy's name who drove it, but it's not the one from the Hot Wheels Vintage Racing. Although Greenlight did that one as well. But this is another one I got in that trade with that CUDA. And just an awesome looking car. The red, white, and blue, very nicely executed. This is another fantastic tooling from Greenlight, in my opinion. I love the lines on the car. Look at the rear wheel, how the car kind of angles back in as it goes down. I just love the look. It really makes for an aggressive stance because it exposes a lot of tire. And I've got a really nice civilian deco version of this casting, and it looks great too. I mean, I really do like this casting from Greenlight. I kind of wish they would do more AMC stuff. The scale and the proportions on this, they're just so much better than the Johnny Lightning. So much more accurate. Just like the Torino. Now the other thing too, the driver's side does have the race net. And it does have the roll cage, so a couple of things that you get on this one that you don't get with the civilian releases, although the casting itself remains the same. Pretty awesome car though. All right, what else? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 left. I'll show this one real quick. I've shown this one quite a few times since it came out, so I won't spend too much time on it. This is the 67 Camaro. The 69 Camaro should be showing up any day. But this is another one that I really want to get in a civilian deco. Because as you see it here with the racing deco, it's a bumper delete and roll cage, and obviously you have the racing livery on it. And I think this is based on an actual race car as well. Really cool car. Got the Goodyear tires. I love the colorway on this. That burgundy color with those dark gray wheels. It's just a really nice combination. And this tooling is very nicely done. You know, a lot of their new stuff that they brought out, it's either, I think it's like either really, really good or it's really, really bad. There isn't a lot of it that seems to be middle ground. Here's another one. This is the Baja. Actually, this is the Safari 240Z. And this would be, in my opinion, their worst casting that they've ever done. Now, with that said, I think this is probably their best release of the car so far. This Safari release looks so good. You've got full-size spare in the back. This is an authentic livery, and it just looks so killer. You've got the spotlights on the front, lensed headlights. I'm surprised that this car had bumpers on it, but I think in this case the actual race car did. So, see, back here from this angle, that looks really good. That looks just like a 240Z. Some angles look okay, but for the most part, it just doesn't look good. They just didn't get it right. They didn't get the proportions right. It just seems like this tooling, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was rushed. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just not right. Look at the size of the window on the side. That's way too small. Extremely disproportionate. And it's kind of a bummer because this is what we have to deal with anytime they put out a 240Z. This is a casting. I will buy one nice civilian deco, one or two nice racing decos, and then I will be done with this casting. Not like this casting, where I will probably try to buy every single one that they bring out. This is the Datsun 510 Bluebird, and I think they smashed this one. Not much could have been done, in my opinion, to make this one better. Lens headlights for sure would have made it better, but then it kind of makes it hard for them to do stuff like this. This is an authentic replication there with those sponsor badges on the headlight lenses, Valvoline and the other ones you have there. But it is just a great car. It's very nicely done. Love the wheels on it. The wheels look really good. They got the stance right. It's very well proportioned. They did give you some lens head or tail lights on it. So yeah, I like this one a lot. One of my favorite Greenlight toolings. All right, that leaves only 3 more. So this one here, a very popular release when it came out. I have a nice low number 163. They only made like 98 green machines of this, which means they only made I can't do the math right now. If they make 4,000, green machines are 2%, that would be 80. 3% would be 120. So they made less than 4,000 of these. And this is the Goodyear Rapper. This is based off of an actual dirt track car. This race car in real life has big, knobby, all-terrain tires on it. It's a really cool color combination with the blue, baby blue or powder blue, and the white and yellow. And it's the Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 casting. I think you can still find this one for pretty cheap. It came out in Greenlight Muscle. I don't remember which series it was, but I know it was Greenlight Muscle. That gets us down to the last 2. This one here came out twice, both times in Greenlight Hollywood. First time in Series 8. The second time, which is what we're looking at here, is I think Series 13. And this is the Smoky Unique 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle. The Smoky Unique Deco is iconic. It's classic. The gold on black with the red pinstripe. There is a 69 Camaro that's about to come out with the same livery, and I think that's coming out with a ramp truck, the Chevy ramp truck. So that's going to be a must-have. And as I mentioned, this came out from Greenlight Hollywood. If you're wondering, it was from the movie Talladega Nights. This is the car that Will Ferrell's dad has with the... He puts the Cougar in the car and makes Will Ferrell get in and drive to overcome his fear. It's a sick car. I'm glad they've re-released it. I had this Series 8. I mean, I have it. But I'm glad that they re-released it because it allowed me to get another one. And when they did re-release it, it was released with a little Cougar. So that's kind of cool. I think it would have been better to mold the Cougar in the back seat. But then you'd have to paint it and all that kind of stuff. So awesome car though. And I have two. All right, so that leaves us one more right at 31 minutes. This is a Baja race truck. It's a 1977 Dodge Ram Charger. This is one of my favorite Greenlight releases of all time. Now, I probably should have brought out a Baja Bronco also. But, yeah, this truck is so killer. I really want to see one of these with the lift kit and the civilian deco. I showed you in the last video a really nice civilian deco Plymouth Trail Duster, which is the same tooling, the black one with the red, but that one has the stock suspension, so I really want to see that lifted like this. And I've thought a lot about it. This is an old Greenlight tooling. The tooling number is GL042. But when you look at the front end of this, I know this one's hard to see because of the brush guard. The front end looks an awful lot like the Dodge B100. Just the way it's designed. So, and I know that that B100 is a tooling that Greenlight inherited. So I was wondering if this is another tooling that they inherited, and if so, was this released prior to Greenlight? But in my research, I could not find anything. So I don't know. But when you look at the design of this front end and you compare it to that B100, they look very similar. This casting is so cool though. You get a full-size rubber spare. Pretty much every time they release it, you get a full-size rubber spare. And then in this case, you have the removable top, the white interior with the black seats, this thing is just bitchin', man. I love it. And this casting is the reason why I want Greenlight to do the K5 square body, as well as the 2nd gen Bronco or 3rd gen Bronco, because I think they would smash it just like they did the 510. So yeah, let's do this one over here. So I don't know, you know, a lot of people prefer the race cars. A lot of collectors want the race cars. I'm one of those that if I have to pick, I want a civilian stock model. But I do like to mix in the racing decos, and I like to mix a little of everything into what I collect. That's why I have the RVs and the flatbeds and the box trucks, because I like all of that stuff. So I like to have a little bit of everything represented. I love the fact that they did the LLV. So I've got the US PS LLV and the Canadian Postal LLV. But I don't know, I love what Greenlight does, and this is part of what makes them my favorite brand to collect. I love premium import diecasts and their level of detail and quality, but they're produced at a much lower rate and they are sold at a much higher price. And so with Greenlight, they do enough stuff. I think all collectors can find something that they would enjoy. The best selection in diecast with Greenlight when it comes to premium detailed. I think they're even at the point now where they've got a better selection than Johnny Lightning. What I will say about Johnny Lightning is their selection is more eclectic. The 81 Malibu, they just have some real oddball stuff. And Greenlight doesn't really have any of that. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. Please like and share the video as much as you can. I really want to try to get one of these videos to take off. It seems like it's been a long time since I've had one of those videos take off. So if you all could help me do that, that would be awesome. But I know most of you have probably stopped watching before you get to this point. But anyways, thank you again. You guys have a good weekend. I'll try to be back this weekend with more diecast, and I'll holler at you at that next video.